Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Shokugeki no Souma, aka Food Wars, Chapter 97. Alright, and I actually did an unboxing video for this, but I figured I should probably try and get my reviews out before an unboxing video just because it's higher priority. But, yeah, speaking of reviews, you might notice that this review came out late. Well, that's because when it comes to the final week of classes in college, professors like to save everything for the last week, which means when it comes to all of your classes, you always have big assignments and exams and projects due in the last week. So then there, like, all this work piles up, and you just don't have time for anything because you're just so overwhelmed. It's the most it's like the most annoying week in college. Like, it's worse than finals week. The last week of classes is actually more stressful than finals week because at least you have some classes that don't have finals, but it's annoying. But anyway, the review's up now. All right, and this chapter starts off right where I left off with someone pulling out that fish, and I must say, the reactions that some of these people had were hilarious. The facial expressions, like Hayama's and Ryo's, Nikumi and Megumi, all these guys, they had hilarious reactions, especially Souma, because Souma had that face that he always has in situations like that. Like, it's just hilarious. But one thing that did surprise me though is that Hayama and Ryo actually thought that, like, it's their opinion of Soma's fish caught me off guard because they just assumed that he screwed up somehow and was just going to lose because of it, and I didn't like that. Okay, and I'll give you an example of what I wanted to have happen. Okay, recently I've been watching Kaiji. I'm like 3 episodes away from finishing the first season. And for those of you who don't know, Kaiji is like Liar Game, alright? But it's, rather than being like a competition type of thing, it's more like every once, you get invited to this thing once and then you're done. But every once in a while, if they find you interesting, they might go and like find you and bring you back. Like, there are no obligations to stay. Alright, like, you're not forced to, but you do still carry the debt no matter what. So, the point is that it's one of those series where it's all about strategy. Like, you're playing all these games and everything in order to get money and clear debts and everything, and it's like really strategic, and it's like, and you're always getting mind blown by stuff. It's one of those types of series. Alright, and the scene in particular, I always like to say that no game, no life has the most epic game of rock, paper, scissors ever. But Kaiji had like this card game version of rock, paper, scissors. And that was pretty freaking awesome too. Alright, and in this scene, Kaiji, the main character, was playing against one of the main antagonists. Okay? And you're just like getting mind blown the entire time by the strategies these guys are using. Right? And at the end of it, Kaiji comes up with this great strategy. Alright, and the antagonist was about to fall for it, but then he stopped for a second and realized, because the strategy was dependent on Kaiji making a mistake and the antagonist noticing the mistake. Alright, and he did notice the mistake. Okay, and he was like, wait a second, this is a mistake that this guy is too smart to make, so he must have did it on purpose in order to try and trick me into acting a certain way. Yes, he's smart enough to be able to accomplish that. So that means instead of acting this way, I should do this. Okay? And it turns out that the trap that Kaiji set was actually a double trap, but that's not the point. The point is that the antagonist respected and acknowledged Kaiji enough and was smart enough to realize, to actually be able to figure out Kaiji's level of skill. Alright? And was able to figure out, like, this guy is too good to make a mistake like this. Okay? And that's what I wanted to see from Hayama and Ryo. Alright? They should have seen that fish that Souma pulled out and said, Souma is too good to make a stupid mistake like this. He has to have some type of plan He has to have something up his sleeve to make that work to his advantage. I don't know what, but he's got to be planning something. All right, but they didn't. They they didn't. They just assumed he was too stupid to be able to to be able to do something. I'm just like sitting here, but that just makes them look bad. It makes them look stupid because they're the awful judges of skill. You know, like I just, and it's not like you have to get rid of their confidence in any way. They can still say, like, you know, I don't know what you've got planned, but it's not going to be enough to beat me. All right, like they can still be cocky and still think that they're going to beat Soma. All right, but they should at least not be stupid and naive. They should at least be able to have the intelligence and the eye for talent to be able to tell that Soma isn't stupid enough to make a mistake like that. All right, that he has a plan of some sort. I just didn't like the fact that in this chapter, Hayama and Ryo were essentially made to look like idiots and morons. All right, like it's like cliche shonen villains who underestimate their opponent, even though they've seen plenty of feats to suggest that the opponent isn't actually that weak. All right, like I just didn't like that at all. I really didn't. And I didn't like it at all. Maybe some people might think I'm overreacting. I don't think I am, because it shows you what kind of characters Hayama and Ryo are, and it just makes them look really freaking bad. Okay, so I don't think I'm overreacting to it at all, but other people might. Luckily, the rest of the chapter was actually pretty good. After this, we ended up meeting the head of R&D, Research and Development, Leonora Nakiri. All right, she's Alice's mother. All right. And one thing I have to say is that Tosh, aka Psyche Shun, this dude is such a great artist. He's just so freaking good. Right? And one of the things he's best at is just drawing characters. Whether it's these cool-looking guys who are just awesome and you can't help but like them, or it's just like really cool-looking women, or in this case, just beautiful women. Like legit, Leonora is stunning. Like that's the point. Like she's supposed to be. That's why Yoshino made that comment. Like, oh, this woman is beautiful. Like, how is this possible? Then Alice is like, oh well, that's my mom. And then she's like, what? Oh, well, actually, that makes perfect sense. You know, so like that's the point for her to be beautiful. But still, like you just have to admire Tasha's art. This guy is just amazing, and he's able to make these stunning female characters, these perfectly designed male characters too. Like you just have to, you know, give him some respect for that. Give him snaps, okay? Like the dude is great. Like I was gonna make Leonora Nakiri my thumbnail. I would have, but that last page was just too much to. I just couldn't overlook that last double page spread. All right, but yeah, she's great, and that quirk of hers is pretty adorable too. The fact that she can only speak broken Japanese, like that's legit adorable. Like who's the one who said that? I don't know. Was it Ibusaki? No, that's like so out of character for him. No, it was someone said it, like, but it was like like adorable how she could only speak broken Japanese, and that expression she had in her face was funny too. Her, Alice, and Aaron, you know, all together, they're just hilarious. Like they actually are. They're just really funny. But she also has a serious side, obviously, because we saw her interact with Soma and saying like, "Oh, you beat my daughter." So well, that sounds weird if I just said like that. You defeated my daughter earlier in the competition, so you must be good. And as a matter of fact, you better be good, because if you disappoint me with your dish, there's going to be some trouble. All right. So she's definitely got a serious side too. All right. And we end up seeing after this the introduction of the other judges. Well, that was before that actually, but we see them kind of just. We get the start of the match, and we get this. The roof opens up, we see the moon, and we get this like really cool scene where it's like where Dojima is reminded of earlier competitions where he competed, where someone's dad competed, and now it's like this passing the torch kind of thing where now they're watching the new generation step up in that role. And not only is it a nostalgic feeling for him, but it's also one where you're like looking towards the future, because Soma's dad used to be there, and now Soma himself is stepping up into that role, and it was just really cool. it was just a really cool scene. But that is it. That's what we get for this chapter. After this, the match officially starts. And yeah, overall, I will give the chapter like a 6.5 out of 10, because while the second half was really good, like I said, the first part I just did not like. I just didn't like how they're kind of hurting Hayama and Ryo's character. I just didn't like that. So overall, I have to weigh the positives and the negatives together, and overall I think they just like kind of cancel each other out. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10, and that's that, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.